devoid of sickness. And today we're talking about something that is psychological, and its impact on young adolescents or young adults. Acne vulgaris. I hope I got that right, but the doctor will tell us, commonly known as pimples. It has a profound psychological impact on adolescents and young adults. It can lead to feeling of unworthiness, social withdrawal, and impaired academic performance. Now, the condition can also provoke cruel taunts from peers, and affect participation in open engagements due to the need to disrobe of public, when they're in the public space, in changing rooms, on the pitch. And it can lead to depression and social withdrawal in some cases. So to help us understand, how to deal with this phenomenon is Dr. Kofi Ansah-Brefo. He's a skin specialist, the founder of Skin Foundation Africa, West African representative of the ISD. Hi, Doc. Good morning.
Good morning.
Welcome back to our table.
Thanks for having me.
So it almost seems like you should heave a sigh of relief when you see other people, and they are battling with acne on their face. Let's understand what acne even is, or if you like the scientific term, vulgar.
So, acne basically is a chronic inflammatory condition. And for us to understand acne, we need to appreciate what we call the pilosebaceous unit. So these two words are very important, the follicle and the sebaceous glands. Acne, it's part of us because then it has a hormonal, influctuation of hormonal part to it. And the whole idea is there are triggers. So there are times when it can be a little bit exacerbated by certain conditions. It could be genetic. Certain families, you notice that acne runs through. It could also be as a result of, hormones. So as I said, puberty around that time, it starts getting worse, even pregnancy sometimes. Then a very most important thing, cosmetic and occlusions. So then certain products we use are very important. These are some of the triggers or some of the causes of acne. We need to also add certain medications as well. So then all these forms are part of acne. It manifests in several forms, but just that sometimes we easily miss it. Sometimes we assume any rash on the face is acne.
Right.
But there are other, rash, other conditions that present just like acne. And they're very important to talk about them.
Important. So it's not something that you can just necessarily be born with. Along your life journey, you can develop acne.
So as I said, because of the hormonal fluctuations that, and we need to understand how it comes about. So most importantly, there's what we call, sebaceous glands. They tend to produce sebum or oil.
Right.
And many a time we all have sebaceous glands, but the difference is, first of all, after they are produced, sometimes there's a blockade of it. So it gets clogged or blocked in a follicle. And that's where the problem is.
Okay.
So anything that contributes to this blockade or that contribute to excess production of sebaceous, or sebum from the sebaceous glands will lead to acne formation.
Is this sebum fat, oil?
So yes, you are right. Okay. That's the reason why when you press acne or pimple, sometimes you see this yellowish thing that usually will come out.
Right.
Because it's accumulation of it. And so the first most important thing is there is excess, sebaceous gland activity. And aside that one, it goes on and it leads to what we call the follicular hyperkeratinization, big English. But what it means is
big English.
the keratinocyte, or there are certain cells that keeps on, producing or keeps on forming abnormally. And that is what leads to our popular, the white heads and the dark heads or the black heads. That's the open comedones and the closed comedones.
Is it linked in any way to weight gain as well? Because if it has some semblance of fat, could weight gain be part, or diets, what you eat?
So, again, diet alone is not enough. So diet in somebody with an acne-prone skin. That's the difference. People assume once, diet, yes, there are certain diets, especially with the high glycemic index diet, especially someone will tell you when I eat some of these, junk foods, it leads to, acne formation and stuff. But it is very common in people with acne-prone skin. and that's the whole idea that leads to it, acne
Right.
formation.
So, psychologically, so let's say, okay, how it even starts as an adolescent. Does the adolescent prepare themselves that they could have acne? Or as a parent, what could you do to assist your adolescent child?
Very important question. So, it's part of development, because then once you hit puberty, what happens is we have hormones interplay. So there are times when you are forming or certain hormones are high. There are times when, because certain hormones are high, other hormones tend to be low. And this manifests through, there's a common hormones, what we call androgens. So the androgens are the peak of hormones that helps with these menstruation. Once they are low, the androgen levels are high. And this usually happens around your menses. That is the reason why, around menses we
You
tend to break out,
experience
because then once the
pimples.
androgen levels are high, you tend to produce more sebum or oil production, which increases the chance or the risk of this blockade that we are talking about. So very importantly, we need to tell, we need to psych our kids.
So for girls, you would expect that it may go hand in hand with menstruation,
Yes. So
but not for
definitely,
everyone.
not so.
Okay.
The difference will come, or as a result of people with, different differences. In terms of the concentration of it. So
Okay.
there are certain people, your lifestyle will make it worse. There are others too, because they are not using certain products, what we call comedogenic products, products that are able to, clock your pulse. So that's the differences. So there are some people, you notice, in addition to it, you notice the hormones are a bit on the high side. So then we have certain conditions appearing at that age. For instance, we have what we call PCOS, polycystic ovarian syndrome,
Right.
and is a syndrome, is a condition that has, there's a hormonal part to it. Then in addition, so that's the reason why anyone with acne, stubborn acne, recalcitrant ones, you need to take your time and investigate. Once you get a trigger, you tackle the trigger, and that's it.
Because that could advance into the PCOS, you mean?
No, so the
Okay.
PCOS is a condition on its own. It's a condition where there's abnormal menses. People also have what we call hirsutism, abnormal hair growth,
Hair growth.
and in addition, you also have these recalcitrant acne. And what usually brings them, or it makes us see them, is because of infertility issues. Because then you are not able to really, the menses are not flowing well. You can have like 2 months, 3 months without acne, and that's the main. We say there is a link between the gynecologist and a dermatologist. And once you see that, you need to refer such a patient, to the gynecologist for
Wow.
more comprehensive treatment.
Well, this is worrying, and so, you have to be careful because of the advancement. Are there disparities in gender? Do more girls tend to get acne or pimples as compared to boys? Because people will think that boys' hormones, it's just the women or girls.
So no.
Okay.
We can also have guys, or we men getting it, and we have a very, very common type that are associated. We have different types of acne. We have the one that you mentioned, the common one, the acne vulgaris.
All right.
We also have these nodulocystic types. We have the very stubborn ones, cosmetic, as a result of cosmetics as well. And we also have acne that sometimes it could be that terrible. Sometimes it can lead to fever, chills, and stuff. And
And
it's
the
not only
sizes as well.
exactly.
Some
So
are
we have
bigger,
times where
reddish.
the cystic ones, we have the inflamed ones, and what we are worried about is what we call the therapeutic inertia, or what we call treatment inertia, where we don't start active treatment of acne. So what happens is it leads to all these complications. So most of the time, once you're seeing the patient, you have complication of hyperpigmentation, complication of acne scars. Once we get there, especially with the scars, it takes a long time to treat.
How about treatment? Is popping it allowed? Some people, I don't know if it's a myth, they said, oh, the more you pop it and it touches everywhere on your face, the more like it's infectious or something.
So basically, once you are popping, in other words, you are pushing it back in.
Ah.
So sometimes you have some entering, or you're pushing it back in, And we have what we call acne toileting. Acne toileting just means sometimes you just, especially people with these closed comedons. I mean, those ones that are tight-lipped. There's a procedure where you do and you bring all out. But the pushing or the popping, yes, eventually will end there. And you're also, exciting, or you're also causing inflammation. And that's the main reason why we tend to get hyperpigmentation a lot, because then of this injury that we do to our skin.
Okay, so how do you discuss something like that with an adolescent? How do you let them understand that, this is a phase and there's treatment available, their life is not going to entirely revolve around this? Because you see some adults, maybe they see some adults battling with that. Will anybody love me or like me? Why does this person get to have better skin than me? And they use all kinds of things.
Yes. So the counseling is very, very important here. First of all, we need to train, or we need to educate our adolescents about the fact that acne, yes, is part of life, however, but there are other things that when we do, it makes it worse. And this is very important. So things like we talk about them getting the right treatment, because these days what is happening is once they start having the acne, they apply all these steroids or triple action creams
Over
which
the counter,
over the counter
quickly.
stuff, which complicates or which makes the treatment very difficult. And again, sometimes some of these influences, social media pressure, celebrity trends and stuff.
Right.
It's also something that puts too much pressure on them. And the most important thing is once it comes, we counsel them about it, and we need to seek professional, treatment or advice, because then whilst in school, they tend to use, products that are not prescribed, or
Yeah.
products that are being used by friends or relatives sometimes.
In the treatment, what do you even start with advising? Because you would bath. How do you do the cleansing process till?
So the first approach to acne vulgaris is finding the trigger. Very important. And that's something that we always it's lacking. Many a times people they spend a lot of money buying different products, organic products, and all manner of products. But the first most important thing is, yes, acne is part of development, but how come or why is this person getting this terrible, or I mean this severity of acne? So that's the first approach.
Right.
Once you know the trigger, the second approach is finding the skin type. Very important, because then you can advise about prevention. Any person or any acne treatment should have prevention as part of the whole management.
Right.
Because then what will happen is they tell you, oh, doc, 3 months ago, it was fine. The treatment I was doing well until, let's say, a few days ago. Because the triggers, the person is still in contact with the triggers. And that's what we are supposed to do.
Can they build tolerance over these triggers?
Unfortunately, no.
So you eat shrimps and it comes. So you say, okay, when I eat more shrimps or I drink more milk, it will stop.
So unfortunately, we don't unlike certain conditions where we have what we call some people we call desensitization. But unfortunately, acne, you can't be desensitized. However, once you move away from the trigger, it works like magic.
Wow.
It doesn't even come.
Clear, smooth skin.
And we need to talk about some of the triggers, especially stress. Sometimes the acne is there, but in an attempt to, because you are thinking about it, you are worried about it, you are spending money, you don't know which one or where to even fall on, and the stress alone, because stress is able to, it triggers or it releases what we call, it activates what we call HPA. Hypothalamic pituitary, axis. And once that is, released, you have these stress hormones coming in there, and all these lead to the production or the surge of androgens. And it's the androgens that leads to these hyperactivity.
They are very worrisome.
Very worrisome. So then you have, so that's the reason why we have what we call, hormone or hormonally induced acne, where certain, especially in females, so typically it comes on the cheeks and mostly around their menses, it tends to be worse.
Some have it on the chest area.
Exactly.
A whole lot of,
And it comes on your body. So I hear this a lot, body acne. So it can also come on the body. However, once you have it on the body, you need to rule out what we call, it's more like a fungal or so malassezia. So it's more like a yeast, kind of condition, which is different from acne.
Wow. It's like you have to do like a whole cleansing.
So,
Because if
so you
it's on
need
your
to,
chest, your back.
yeah.
And skin types, are there people that no matter what, triggers or not, they won't get acne?
So,
Are fair people more prone than dark-skinned people?
so it doesn't work that way,
Okay.
unfortunately. Most of the time, if you look
Yeah, all
at
this
the
black don't crack things, so.
if you look at the pathophysiology, I mean, how it comes about, you notice that it's all to do with, excessive activity of the sebaceous glands. So anything that leads to excessive activity of the sebaceous glands, so anything that leads to the surge of these androgens. And secondly, the blockade, very important, because then if you are using certain products that ends up or that's, a clog or block your pulse, then you stand at risk. Now, in terms of that's dark skin, very importantly, because we have lots of melanin. Anytime there's an injury, anytime there's an inflammation, what happens is it will end up, as hyperpigmentation, as dark spots. So rather, it's the opposite, and that's when we need the sunscreen, especially when we are treating this
I
complication.
don't think people understand the importance of sunscreen. They think, okay, maybe it's when you're going to the beach, and stuff like that. But it's something that routinely you
So
should add.
it's very important, especially with inflammatory conditions, because then once we have more melanin, it will end up as hyperpigmentation or dark spot, and the sun or the UV light makes it worse. It stimulates more melanin production. So you can't treat hyperpigmentation without a sunscreen. Very important.
Wow. Let's talk about perfumes as well. Do harsh perfumes, aside from, body lotion, cause that as well?
So that's a very interesting one,
Maybe the kinds
especially.
of body lotions you should avoid. Do
So
they have product things in
yes.
them?
So that's why I mentioned so that we have what we call comedogenic products. So these are products that are greasy or oil-based products.
So when you buy like a lotion, would you find codino? Okay.
So you will not get comedogenic, but you get like non-greasy, very important. So you get stuff like oil-based.
That's what will be written on it.
Will be written
Oil-based
on it,
ingredients, okay.
And some of these, especially with the perfume, the oil, the body oils, very importantly. So once we start using, and that's one of the common cause of these, what we call, body acne. Acne, especially on the chest, on the arm, on the back,
Body oils.
very important. So these oils, as we said, it ends up or it leads to the blockade of these, pores, and eventually, lead to the
Natural
formation
ones
of it.
like shea butter, Vaseline, cocoa butter.
So shea butter is good. However, it shouldn't be too thick. So we have different. That's the reason why sometimes if you have an oily face, we say the cream you use for your body or the other part of your body is not the same cream you apply on your face. Because then if it's thick, there's a tendency or there's a high risk of it clogging or blocking the pores that will lead to acne formation.
Absolutely. Well, that's a lot of work, Some people who say they may not have time, to have a different lotion for your face and your skin. But if that's what's going to give you a clear skin and boost your self-confidence and you do not have these psychological issues, then I'm sure you definitely have to do that. So for adolescent girls as well, and I experience this when I'm in that period where I get a pimple or two here, what can you do to treat that alongside all of the stress of your
So
menses?
the truth is, those ones you don't even need to apply anything.
Yeah, it goes.
It goes on its own.
That's true.
Because then most of the time, as we said, is as a result of that small, surge in these hormones. So
the
those ones
androgens.
you don't need to apply anything. However, what happens is, in an attempt to treat it, so some people get over-the-counter steroids. Some people try to, pop it. That will rather lead to the complication of hyperpigmentation. So sometimes once it comes,
Doc, explain what hyperpigmentation is. Like, what does it look like?
so dark spots basically.
Okay.
Dark spots. So then the any injury that you have on the skin, eventually because of where our skin type, because of the melanin rich skin, eventually it leads to
it's the
stimulation.
melanin.
It's the melanin basically.
Wow.
Melanin defines this darkness. So anything that makes or that activate or make you produce more melanin, we need to move away from
Does
it.
melanin have anything to do with watermelon? Taking lots of watermelon?
Not necessarily.
Hey.
No, there's no strong, evidence to support that one.
Okay,
Yes.
but so more production of melanin is good for the skin or not?
No, so we have it already.
Okay.
However, when there's an injury or there are things that makes it worse. So for instance, when you are exposed to the UV light, for instance, or you have a you have a dark spot on your skin, and you expose it to the UV light, and you are treating the hyperpigmentation without preventing it. It's more like a cycle; it comes back. So then you need something that will break this whole cycle,
Cycle
and
from the
that's the reason why you
foundational.
need a sunscreen.
Wow, sunscreen, very important. Doc, we have to go. I'll give you a minute to, what we should look out for
Okay.
in your highlights.
This goes out to any young person listening to us. Acne or pimple is some people, it's part of us. It's part of it. These hormonal interplay and stuff. We can't do much about it. However, there are certain things that makes it worse. So very, very, very importantly, any product you are using. First of all, as we say, man, you don't know thyself. Know the type of skin that you have. You have an oily skin. What it means is you are prone to acne formation. So then you need to move away from anytime you are buying a product, check. It has to be non-greasy, and we also say non-comedogenic, or it shouldn't be something that produces, or that stimulates oil production. That can clog or block your pores. Most important. Secondly, anytime there's an acne, let's move away from some of these steroids, over-the-counter steroids, because then it's a short-term acne treatment, it's not a long-term. And the last bit is let's start a treat. Let's seek specialists, consult early, because then all these complications, acne scars, hyperpigmentation, the psychological part that comes with it is real, and it can be managed.
Thank you so much. And the stress you mentioned as well.
Stress,
Manage your stress, because that could lead to acne, and seek the right consultation so that I understand the basis of where the acne is coming from. If you do not understand where it's coming from, how do you treat it? So you're going to be attacking it with any and everything, and this may exacerbate your situation, because yes, it's true, it's psychological, and the impact on young adults and adolescents can be very, very dire. Thank you so much. Dr. Kofi Ansah Brifo is a skin specialist. He's the founder of Skin Foundation Africa, West African representative of the ISD, and we've been talking about the psychological impact of acne pimples on adolescents and young adults. You can find the conversation again on GTV Ghana. Note all the points, why it's caused, how you can treat it, so that you can help a young adolescent, in your home or around you. We're back with more on the show on this Tuesday edition. Do stay with us.